So my wife Haley and I built a seven-figure YouTube-based business while homeschooling our kids. And we've got five of them. There's a lot that's going on, but our business allows us to still protect our family time too. And we're able to do this not because we have a bunch of extra hours that are laying around, or we have a bunch of help around the house, or we went magically viral, but it's because of the niche that we chose. It's because of the content that we make and because of how we monetize that channel and that YouTube-based business. You see, people don't fail on YouTube because they're bad on camera or because they don't know how to optimize. 99% of the time, they fail because they actually pick the wrong niche. Haley actually just did a video that talks all about niches that you want to avoid. Now, the thing is that whether you want to call it your niche or your content strategy or whatever it is, the videos that you make, the topics that you choose, if you choose it wrong, the wrong thing, they're going to eat away at your free time. It's going to steal time away from your family. It's going to burn you out before you ever get paid. But if you pick the right niche, if you're making the right content, you can build it at night. You can do it after your 9 to 5. You could do it in the quiet hours. You could do it without missing dinner. You could do it without having to have the kids around or having to interrupt their lives to be able to make content. So in this video, I want to show you exactly how you can do just that. You can choose the right niche. So in order to be able to do that, we're going to talk about 7 different rules that when it comes to choosing a niche to be able to make sure that this niche fits your real life and your lifestyle. And then I actually want to be able to give you 5 different niche ideas that you can build at night, in your office or your garage or wherever it is that you do kind of all your free time stuff at night. And so that way you can grow your income, but still put your family first. Now, if we haven't met yet, my name is Doug. And again, my wife, Hayley, and I run a 7-figure online business. And what we do is we leverage YouTube to sell digital products. And you're going to hear me talk about that a lot in this video because that, in my opinion, is the best way to make money and get your time back with YouTube. And what that's done is that allows us to have all the typical stuff: time freedom, location freedom, financial freedom. We could do fun hobbies and have a really fun life with our kids and give back to people. And so if that's something that interests you, be sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment down below if you're in any of these niches, or if you want to get into any of these, if you have any other questions, and let's go ahead and jump right on into it. Before we get into the different niche ideas, I want to give us some constraints. Constraints basically set us up to make better decisions. If we can just pick whatever we want all willy-nilly, we're going to just pick random stuff to talk about on YouTube. There's no rhyme or reason behind what it is that we're doing. But when you have constraints, when you have a specific amount of time, it has to be done in a specific way. You only have 2 nights to do it. You need to prioritize things other than your YouTube channel. Then it makes it to where you make really good decisions because the decisions have very strict requirements. So the first one that I want to be able to talk about is that whatever niche you choose or whatever topic you choose, it has to be something that you can do alone at night. If it needs other people, if it needs daylight, if it needs a full production setup with a bunch of equipment and it takes 2 hours to set up every single time, you could probably forget about it. Your niche should be something that fits into your schedule. It shouldn't wreck it. You should be able to just come home after work, have dinner with your family, hang out with them, talk to your kids, but then just be able to kind of quietly, when the house is quiet, if it ever does get quiet, move into your workshop or your space or anything like that, and then still be able to make progress. The second rule that you want to be able to have is that this has to be evergreen content. If you ever post a video and it starts to go up and then it just dies within the first couple of hours, then you're just going to be back on the chasing the algorithm, posting as much as I can YouTube treadmill. Instead, we should treat videos like they're assets. You're literally investing in them. It should be things that grow over time. So this will end up being things like tutorials, lessons, reviews, searchable topics, or things that have longevity, things that people will still probably search for even next year. They shouldn't just be things that immediately go away. The third rule is that you need to have a simple setup. Sit down, talking head, put your computer down in front of you, figure out what you need to be able to have on there, and hit record. If your niche needs a ton of fancy B-roll, if you need to record yourself everywhere, you need a full set, you need a ton of lighting or microphones or other equipment that you can't just keep sitting there to make it simple, it won't work. You're going to quit because it sucks to set up every single time. Keep it simple so that way you can stay consistent. The fourth rule is I want you to be able to take some type of digital product, preferably a course, because I like courses and coaching, but some type of digital product that you can attach to every single video. Every single video needs to point to something that sells. We don't want to think about AdSense being the main way we make money. We don't want to have to rely on sponsorships and brand deals with Top Ramen. Those are nice bonuses and that's really cool. But if your niche doesn't lead to a product or a service, then you're not going to be able to make a bunch of money with it and you're not going to be able to scale it easily while still retaining your values and being with your family. I would know this because for years, when Haley was on YouTube and when I was working on her channel with her, we didn't have a product attached. We were the product, and us being the product sucked because that meant on days that I didn't want to vlog or I didn't want to record anything with Haley, I still had to put on a smiling face and record with Haley. There's such a better way to be able to do it, especially when you have 5 little kids. And speaking of having 5 little kids, whatever kind of content you create, it needs to be something that aligns with your real life. You cannot go out and try to find other skills or new hobbies or new things just for the sake of doing content. You should be having and using the skills or routines or hobbies or passions that you already have. Anytime you add something that complicates or makes things harder for you to work with, it's going to increase your chances of failure. The easiest kind of content is going to be the kind of content that you can make around the life that you're already living. You don't want to have to go out and try to rent a plane for the sake of making your content. The next constraint that I have for picking your niche is I want you to be able to protect your values. Don't turn family time into content. I know how that goes. Don't trade privacy for clicks. I also know how that goes. You need to be able to pick a niche that lets you show up authentically as yourself, okay, without you having to sell your home life, without you having to sell out your soul, without you having to go against your values. If you're creating content around something that makes you feel yucky and icky, then don't do it. I would never want to talk about drama type content where we talk about politics or we talk about people and talk down on people on one side to make another side look up or anything like that, or talk about influencer or celebrity drama or things like that. That goes against my values. I'm trying to be a good, godly figure for my kids, right? And I want to be a good leader for my wife. And in order to be able to do that, I cannot have any distractions that deter away from me living a Christian lifestyle. And that just means I can't create content. Even if I might be able to get a ton of views, I can't create content that goes against those values. And finally, the last rule, so we can get into all of the content ideas, is that this type of niche needs to be something that you can do that fits into like 5 to 10 hours a week. Now, if you have more time than that, that's awesome. If you are able to work more than that, that's really cool, but not everyone can, okay? And we don't want to have to pull away from time with our kids. If we're already working 40 hours a week and you come home at 5 or 6 p.m. and then you only have a couple of hours with your kids until they go to sleep and then you wake up and you do it all over again, you don't want to have to trade those hours you have with your kids for doing your YouTube channel. So your YouTube channel should be something that can grow in the margins of your day and of your week. We explain this to people who join our program YouTubepreneur, that we created this strategy to be something for parents that they can do before the kids wake up, during nap time, or after they go to sleep. And so if you can't create content in those hours and in that time, it's really not going to be a niche that's going to work out for you. So now that we have those constraints down, let's talk about these different niche categories that I want to share with you. These are broad categories that I think people can fit in. They're not the end all be all. They're not the only ones that are there, but they are ones that fit within these constraints. So let's get into the first one. My first niche is your hobbies. Now, this is for all of my dads out there. Whether you want to admit it or not, or whether your wife admits it or not, we all have hobbies. We all have things that we love to do, sometimes by ourselves, sometimes with other people, but men are just big kids. We're big boys. And so we have things that we like to do outside of work. And we also have things that we like to do outside of protecting our family, raising our family, and being with our kids. And those are some of the first things that you should actually look into when it comes to figuring out your YouTube niche. That is because it aligns with what you're already doing. You already love it. You can just go ahead and teach it. You don't have to be an expert. You're probably more of an expert than you actually think that you are when it comes to these hobbies that you have. So for some people, it might be things like plastic model kits, building Gundams and talking about the techniques that they use to be able to build them and dioramas and things like that. Or for other people, it might be stuff related to tech, like keyboards. It might be something really weird and niche, headphones that people use. There's a lot of hobbies that people have that they can actually monetize a lot better than they think. One of the things that's really popular right now is prepping or protection, safety, EDC, talking about different pieces of equipment to be able to protect yourself, to be able to protect your family. And so a lot of these hobbies can actually easily translate into courses and different types of digital products. For instance, you could talk about everyday preparedness, how to be able to build a reliable EDC or a family go bag, or what to talk to your family about when it comes to being protected or prepared. That is value that you can take and turn into a product to be able to sell through your YouTube channel. When we get back into the plastic model kit building stuff, it's actually way more in depth than just sitting here and putting these things together. There are people that consider this an art. They paint things, they customize them, they burn them with wood burners to create battle damage, and they have dioramas and setups, and they compete in competitions. There's a lot that goes into it, and you'd be surprised that people are actually willing to pay to learn how to do things like this better. They actually pay to learn how to do a lot of different things better. It could be painting, customizing Gundams, keyboards. Yes, the prices are going to vary when it comes to what people are willing to pay for. And a lot of times it comes down to disposable income and percentage value of how much somebody loves that passion. But you can 100% monetize a YouTube channel that is based off of your hobby. And it doesn't just have to be courses, again, courses or coaching. That's just what I prefer. But you obviously have things like affiliate links that you can use for your gear or for your tools. You have communities that people can pay for, like monthly memberships. You can obviously do brand deals. So there's a lot that you can do within the hobby industry or niche. You can find ways to make it creative. You can find ways to make it fun. You can find ways to do how to or to make it evergreen. And it's amazing because you can just go ahead and jump in with stuff that you already have. But let's say you're not a weeb or a nerd and your hobbies happen to be something else. Your hobbies actually happen to do something that's really good for you, which is your strength and your fitness. So the second category that I want to be able to talk about is personal health. Whether that is physical health or whether that's mental health, you don't need to be a fitness influencer that's super buff or ripped or have a full gym setup or whatever people have nowadays. Just be a normal person or a normal dad that is teaching, balance in terms of being able to care for your life and care for your health, but then still have fun or do other things. This could be things like garage workouts, meal prep, energy management, stress management, being able to work out even when you sit down all day or when you work at a desk all day. One of our students, her name's Rebecca Matznick. What she does is she actually talks to women specifically that are postpartum that are there to be able to lose weight. And I know that you might say, well, Doug, in the strength and fitness category, don't I have to spend all of my time recording myself working out or recording myself at the gym and doing those really embarrassing gym videos where I put my camera up and people walk in front of it and then I shade people or whatever is trending nowadays? You don't have to do that. Rebecca actually just sits down in front of her area that she works out in and she talks to the camera, which is amazing. And she does that. And it doesn't necessarily have to take away any more from what she's doing. It doesn't have to actually even interrupt her workout. Like, yeah, she might show a couple of B-roll shots of working out or something like that, but it's not like she has to record her entire workouts and ruin that. She can do other things. And this applies to pretty much anyone that's doing fitness. So obviously, in the health and fitness industry, you could do things like coaching opportunities, course opportunities. You can do it for dads, for moms. You could do it for postpartum. You could do it for office workers. I actually saw a very specific offer for Asian men who don't want to stop eating white rice. Other things you could do is like meal prepping. If you do a lot of cooking, you can just record yourself doing the cooking. You can talk about it. It's something that's already integrated into your life that you already have to do. Now, let's say you're not a weeb and have a bunch of weird hobbies like I do, or let's say you're not doing strength and conditioning all the time. This niche or this category might also be for you. So I call this the faith and family leadership category. Now, today, there are a lot of moms and female influencers that are doing the how to have household management or how to be able to hold the family together through your faith type of content. But what I think is lacking is the father's perspective in all of this. Now, there is a proven niche for dad faith creators that's already there. There are a lot of people that do that, but it comes from a very authority perspective. These dudes know a lot. I don't know how really relatable they are. From my perspective, if there was a guy who was able to sit there and just kind of be a regular dad who wants to talk about faith and leadership and presence with their kids, I think that it would really go a long way. And it wouldn't require you to have to be speaking on a stage. It wouldn't require you to have to be a pastor at a church. You wouldn't have to go out onto a gun range and talk. You can, in fact, just be a dad who sits down on the couch and talks about how he's leading his family through faith. You can be able to set up weekly Bible studies for deeper relationships with you and your kids, or even really focus in on the dad himself and be able to talk about how you can help lead other dads through their own journey with Christ. And this is something that I'm personally going through and trying to work on myself. And so as I go through this, I look out for and I seek other dads that are doing the same thing. And so that's why personally I know that this is a niche that could potentially work. This fourth category is also another niche catch-all category, but I like to call this the dad skills category. YouTube is already the world's dad that they may not have had, or the dad that has the skills that their actual dad didn't, right? YouTube teaches people everyday life skills. It could be things like home repair, drywall repair. It could be fixing leaky sinks or faucets. And this could be for home repair. It could be cars. It could be tech. It could be finances. There are so many different things and skills, everyday life skills that a lot of people don't have. So a lot of dads or a lot of people that are out there that have these skills that have already lived this life. And the really cool thing about this content is this content is some of the best when it comes to being evergreen and building a lot of traffic over time. Looking things up, how to balance a checkbook, how to fix a flat tire, how to fix a leaky sink. Those are things that will just never go away. Maybe the checkbook thing might go away because nobody balances checkbooks anymore, but it could be something about finances. But these are evergreen ideas that can last. And you might say to yourself, but Doug, if these people are on YouTube watching it, why would I try to make a course or create a community or build some type of digital product around these things? And the truth is that people really want to be able to have everything on one spot for convenience. People want to have a system or routine that they can follow without having to scour 50 different YouTube channels to figure out whatever it is that they want to do. So if you were to create, in my instance, because I work on my car a lot, you could create a comprehensive course that talks all about car maintenance. And yes, there could be instances where there's a lot of YouTube videos that are out there, but sometimes people want, again, they want all of the fluff cut out. They want a community to be able to connect with. They want someone to be able to talk to and ask, and even video record or screen share something to say, hey, can you help me diagnose this problem? There are a lot of people that would want that kind of help and not have to go to a handyman or a mechanic every single time something happens. So creating some type of everyday toolkit for basic household needs or household care or finance systems, how to be able to dad or how to be able to adult could be a potential good product that you can attach inside this type of YouTube niche. Now, the final idea that I have here is one that a lot of people might overlook, and it's you turning your 9 to 5 into a YouTube business. Now, people are going to kind of scoff at this because they're like, why would I continue to just do my job after I get home and keep doing that job? But the thing is that your job probably already teaches something valuable to someone. And all you have to do is take those teachings or take those skills, take the things that you've learned and turn that into content. You can then take it and teach people how to be able to do that online. Myself, I used to do search engine optimization. I was an SEO manager. It would have been very easy for me to go through and take all of that content and take all of that knowledge, all of those skills, and turn it around and teach it on YouTube as a course. And it was actually something that Hayley wanted me to do a really long time ago, but hindsight is 2020. It could have been something that I did. I did take all those skills and apply it to Hayley's YouTube channel and the algorithm and learning the algorithm. I want you to actually sit back and just think, what is it that I do at my job? What kind of skills do I have? What kind of experiences do I have? What kind of things could I teach other people? Could I teach people how to do my job so that way they can get that job themselves? Could I teach people how to get a promotion from one role to the next? For instance, one of our students, his name's Colton. He is a full-time wedding photographer and he travels all over the world and he does all these destination weddings. But what he does is his program and his channel is all about taking semi-professional photographers and teaching them how to be full-time professional photographers and running their own company or getting their own clients. Another example is one of our students, Jeff. Jeff is awesome. He has a channel called The American Thrivalist. He talks all about emergency preparedness. That is his literal job, but he takes all of the skills from his job that he has, turns around, puts it up on YouTube for the everyday dude or the everyday guy that wants to help his family be prepared. And he leverages his actual experience doing that and also his experience of being an Army sniper and all these other things that he did in the military. He just takes the knowledge he already has. He doesn't have to learn anything new. He doesn't have to buy any kind of new equipment or anything. And he could just turn around, jump onto YouTube, post on it, and actually one of his most recent videos went super viral, which is amazing to see. And he's just a guy sitting there literally in his garage, literally in front of his go bags, talking to people. So if you can create courses or coaching programs that guide people through the process of learning the skills that you have or take their skills to the next level, that's an easy way for you to take your job and turn it into something that is a YouTube channel and get a really good return on investment for it. One of our other students, his name is John. He's a commercial pilot and he flies these water planes out in the bush of Alaska and he lands on water and he does all this stuff. And what he does is he helps people to go from being private pilots to commercial pilots without having to do an instructing job. And it's a very niche, very specific thing, but it's exactly what he does on his day-to-day life. And so now he just creates content on it and that's how he finds clients and that's how he makes money. And it doesn't have to take away from anything else that he's doing. So hopefully those niche ideas spark something that you have been thinking about or that you've been sitting on. And remember, you want to be able to take all of those constraints and apply them to your niche ideas. Because again, if you have to jump out and do too many hours, or if you have to record when your kids are still awake and it takes away from time going to that t-ball game, or if it takes away from family time and meal time or devotionals or whatever it is that you're doing, you don't want to have to do that. You want to find something that you can build that is completely isolated from any other time or money or sacrifices that you're already making. So if you have questions, if you have thoughts on what your niche might be, leave them down in the description below. And if you're wondering how you can actually do all of this, like what the actual step-by-step process is to go from idea all the way down to digital product and sell it and build a life of freedom, I have a masterclass down in the description below. You can check it out. It's totally free. There's a ton of value in it and it'll really help. If you like the video, subscribe if this is content that you want to be able to hear more of, and I will see you guys in the next one.